Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Newshour Special Edition, and today we are going to talk about a decision that has been taken by the centre and is making headlines politically. A new unified pension scheme that assures government employees of 50% of their last drawn pay as a lifelong monthly benefit has been unveiled by the NDA. Now, the UPS assures of a periodic dearness relief hike in line with inflation trends, which basically means that there are going to be periodic reviews to make it come up to the level of inflation in the market. It's not going to be a static figure. A family pension equivalent to 60% of a government worker's pension in case of their demise, and a lump sum superannuation payout in addition to gratuity benefits at the time of retirement. Now, according to the government's own estimates, about 23 lakh government employees are going to benefit from this scheme. But why is it generating such a political storm? That will be the focus of our debate tonight. But first, let's tell you a little bit about what this new scheme means. Now, besides a minimum pension of 10,000 per month has also been promised for those who complete at least 10 years of central government service. There are several other advantages as well that the government ministers and BJP leaders came out and elaborated upon.
Assured pension का जो amount है, that will be the average of basic pay of 12 months before superannuation. उसका 50% होगा. और इस full pension के लिए जो qualifying service रहेगी, वो रहेगी 25 year. ये स्कीम केंद्र सरकार के करीब 23 लाख कर्मचारी, करीब 23 लाख एम्प्लॉइज हैं, उनको इसका बेनिफिट मिलेगा. ऑप्शन रहेगा, कोई अगर एनपीएस में रहना चाहे तो एनपीएस में रह सकता है.
Look, the NPS was a scheme which had no guarantees. It was based on market and market forces and driven by interest rates. And interest rates we know are reducing. Now the government has announced a guarantee of 50% of the last drawn salary, plus some small other benefits. We'll have to see two things. Whether this guarantee and in the fine print is actually more than what the NPS was offering.
ये घोषणा वाली पार्टी कांग्रेस पार्टी सिर्फ घोषणा ही करेगी, घोषणा के अमल में लाने का भी कभी काम करेगी. कांग्रेस पार्टी ने पिछले 2 साल से ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम को एक बहुत बड़ा तूफान बनाया था भारत की राजनीति में. समझ लो कि राहुल गांधी प्रियंका जी हो गई तो उनसे भी कहा दिया गया हिमाचल के चुनाव में कि हम ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम को लागू करेंगे. राहुल गांधी से सवाल नंबर 1, आपकी सरकार ने हिमाचल में अभी तक ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम लागू किया क्या?
Now, if one goes into the fine print of UPS, it looks almost similar to the old pension scheme. But the key difference between the OPS and UPS is that the OPS liabilities were unfunded and entailed no contribution from employees or their employer. The opposition, however, is saying that this is nothing but old wine in a new bottle, that it was the opposition that deserves credit for the government's climb down that made them change a reform that they had brought. Remember, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government had brought the NPS scheme to lighten the financial burden on the government, and the opposition says it is because they have been pushing for their OPS scheme that the government has now been forced to rethink its stand and come out with OPS.
ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम में क्या बुराई थी? कर्मचारी तो ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम मांग रहा है. आप न्यू पेंशन स्कीम लाए थे जिसको स्वीकार नहीं किया. अब आप यूनिफाइड, अरे नाम बदलने में तो भाजपा माहिर है. हमारा ये कहना है कि हमें ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम चाहिए, वो बहाल हो. ये बहाल कर दें, वरना जब हम सत्ता में आएंगे तो हम ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम बहाल करेंगे.
साबित हो गई कि देश की तमाम अपोजिशन पार्टियां, विपक्षी दल जो कह रहे थे वो सही था. विपक्षी दल जनता की आवाज बुलंद कर रहे थे और केंद्र सरकार झूठे अहंकार के अंदर सारे के सारे केंद्र सरकार के मुलाजिमों को दबा रही थी. जिस तरीके से केंद्र सरकार के एम्प्लॉइज ने इस बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी के खिलाफ वोट दिया, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की अकल थोड़ी ठिकाने आई है और मुझे लगता है कि बहुत जल्द और भी अन्य जो इन्होंने फैसले लिए, जैसे इन्होंने अग्निवीर का फैसला लिया, जिसके अंदर लाखों लोगों को का जो सपना था फौज में जाने का, उसको तोड़ा, उस फैसले को भी बहुत जल्द वापस लेंगे।
तो चुनाव से पहले ये बातें होती है ना। चुनाव से पहले अगर कुछ लोग देश को युद्ध के खाई में ढकलते हैं तो और क्या होना चाहिए। दंगे कराते हैं, चुनाव जीतना है, चुनाव जीतने के लिए इस हमारे देश के लोकतंत्र में कुछ भी होता है। वार रुकवाते भी है और वार शुरू भी करते हैं।
Sanjay Rawat, in his bite earlier, had said that if a scheme is good, what can I say about it? It is good, but I guess political compulsions eventually forced him to criticize it. He's questioning the timing of this scheme right now. But is it good? Is it about security for the central government employees, or is it about the security of the government itself? Given that there are elections that are due, those questions are bound to be raised. To answer those questions, we are now joined by Shehzad Poonawalla, BJP national spokesperson, Karan Verma, who's an author, is with us, Lokesh Jindal, political analyst, with us, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, also joins us, and Vivek Srivastav, political analyst. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. My first question to the BJP only. Shehzad, it was a much-touted reform brought about by the BJP, by Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. You said that the government thinks long-term, you think about the finances of the country. What made you go back on that stance?
Before I come to this issue, and I promise I'll come to it in 30 seconds, I want to use the platform of Times Now to highlight just one thing. There are several thousands of students on the streets of Karnataka, aspirants for the KPSC and KS exams, demanding that the exams be postponed, but the Karnataka government, instead of listening to them, has arrested them. All they are demanding is that you have kept it on a weekday. The papers have been printed much in advance. The leaks of the route has already taken place, and the entire system has been compromised. Those people who are crying about NEET are now arresting students. So therefore, in solidarity with those students, I'm raising their issue. Now I'm coming to the issue that we are discussing today. First of all, the NPS was as much a brainchild of the Vajpayee government as it was of the Manmohan Singh government. In fact, it was taken to its logical conclusion by Manmohan Singh government. Let me tell you what Montek Singh Ahluwalia said. Reviving old pension scheme is a bankruptcy recipe. Then, Praveen Chakravarti writes, schemes like OPS will only exacerbate the gap between rich and poor states. Converting new pension scheme into an old is a no-go area, Raghuram Rajan. Manmohan Singh, in fact, took credit for actually putting the new pension scheme in place. So therefore, if anybody has done a U-turn, it is the Congress party which has done a U-turn from something that it advocated and championed. Now what the government has done is that, considering the demands that came from various sections of central government employees, last year a committee was formed under the chairmanship of the former finance secretary. It gave certain recommendations, and both the options have been kept. A UPS, which basically rests on 4 pillars, which is basically assured pension of 50%, assured family pension, lump sum amount, and indexation with inflation. Or if you don't want that, you can continue in the NPS. So we have not backtracked on anything. But what is doing a U-turn is this, Priya, and I'll just finish in 20 seconds. OPS, which they were championing, does not find a mention in Congress's manifesto in 2024. Where is OPS fully implemented in Karnataka? Where is OPS fully implemented in Telangana? Where is OPS fully implemented in Himachal? This is the same U-turn they did on GST. This is the same U-turn they did on farm laws, which was in their manifesto. This is the same U-turn they did on actually doing away with the caste census in 1951, and today they demand the caste census. This is the same U-turn they did on 370 when Nehru said, gis jayega, but today NC and Congress want 370 back, thereby not giving reservations to the Dalits in Jammu Kashmir. This is the same U-turn they did when they opposed Rafale after championing the cause of Rafale. This is a party of U-turns. It is a party that decides its position, whether it's in power or whether it's in opposition.
No, but it's interesting that you speak of U-turns. We'll go into the nuances of your point-by-point rebuttal, but Mallikarjun Kharge is saying that the U in your UPS in itself is a U-turn. Is it not? You were very happy with NPS. You just cited examples of several other leaders from the opposition as well, praising it. Then why did you have to come up with another scheme?
Because the government always listens to employees. Employees have certain feedbacks. They feel that they wanted something more, and therefore a committee was formed. And if the committee got certain recommendations, based on that, another scheme has been formulated. People are free to decide whether they want scheme A or they want scheme B. There is no compulsion or force being implemented on any of the people. We are giving an additional option. How is an option in democracy bad thing? But having said that, now let's ask the question that why did the Congress do a U-turn on the NPS which it swore by, first of all? And secondly, if it now swears by the OPS, where is the OPS in Rajasthan, in Telangana, in Karnataka, in Himachal? Why did it not implement the OPS fully and properly in Karnataka so far? Let's ask those questions. Why is it now doing a U-turn even on OPS? Why didn't it say that we will promise the OPS across the country?
Actually, P.J. Ramaram, when he was asked about that question during Lok Sabha manifesto release, he said it is in our minds. Lokesh Jindal, BJP is doing what is on their mind. What about the Congress's mind?
Well, Congress has always delivered whatever it has promised. In fact, it is the BJP which is forced to take a U-turn and withdraw from whatever it had promised earlier. Just now, Shehzad talked about the Karnataka Public Service Commission. So let me remind him, it is Maharashtra Public Service Commission, which has postponed the MPSC examination for the third time. And there are similar massive protests on the street. So you must also stand in solidarity with them. Now coming to the to the Unified Pension Scheme. Now there are various loopholes in this UPS that is announced by the government. The government says that in order to get the full pension, you need 25 years of services. Now, please tell me, as per the UPSC age limit, the reserved sections, they appear for the examination till 37 years of age. So they would be retiring at the age of 58 or 60 years. So they will not be availing the benefit of the Unified Pension Scheme. So such forms of loopholes are still there in the UPSC that has been announced by the government. And secondly, with respect to NPS, no, this is not a lie. You can look at
anybody who has completed 10 years of service gets it proportionally. Why is he lying? Why is this lie being allowed on Times Now? You don't need to complete 25 years service for that. What a lie.
Have you read the entire details of the Unified Pension Scheme?
Sir, I know a little bit more about the scheme. Please answer about your OPS. You are anyways having OPS.
Wait, we've got an economist on our panel. We've got Karan Verma on our panel. For the sake of our viewers and for clarity, help us understand. We know that anybody who's completed 10 years is going to get 10,000 and eventually it is proportionate to the number of years served. Now, what I want to know before we go further is how different or similar is OPS to NPS? Karan.
Yeah. So you're talking about UPS to OPS, right?
Yes.
How similar or different are UPS to OPS?
Yes.
Is that the question? Sorry. Yeah. So first of all, the funny thing, Priya, is that damned if this government listens to people, damned if it doesn't listen to people. Now that they've brought in changes, and this change is a welcome change, by the way, because it speaks of good economics. It speaks of good economics from the point of view of fiscal discipline, because let's understand this. Congress, when it says that we are going to implement the old pension scheme in Himachal, it is teetering on the lines of bankruptcy in Himachal Pradesh. It's teetering on the lines of bankruptcy even in Karnataka, the way it's going, where inflation is spiraling up. So this government has kept it fiscally disciplined because there is going to be contribution both from the government as well as the employee, which was very important. I mean, it was lagging in old pension scheme. You can make all the promises if you don't care about the downside and, get away with it. But it doesn't, in the end, add up.
Can you give me a price point for this?
It was costing 17 lakh crores. It was never going to happen.
What is going to be the cost of UPS to the government coffers? Can we put a price point to it? Now, the government has increased its contribution from 14 to 18.5.
Contribution to 18.5%.
How much will it cost the government?
18.5%. In the old pension scheme, you didn't have any contribution. So we can get into the calculations for that, but whatever it costs, if we were thinking of complete zero contribution at the beginning, it was going to be a fiscal disaster. Montek Singh Ahluwalia said it. Manmohan Singh said it. In fact, in Himachal, if we go back to the old pension scheme, just to give you an idea of the numbers, 80% of the tax receipts is going to go into footing the bills if we implement the old pension scheme in toto. So that is what the old pension scheme is. It was a disaster to begin with, and it was pointed out by a slew of economists which lean towards the Congress side. So today we have a combination, and that is what good economics is, Priya. We have had plenty of examples of bad economics. We have Vivek Srivastava sitting here. Ask him what's happening in Kerala. Kerala has declared bankruptcy and the Supreme Court has reprimanded it.
No, let's just stick to the point. We've already had one digression on the show. Let's stick to the point. Pensions in itself is a big enough political hot potato for us to deal with. But Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, coming in on the matter of people, of the government paying attention to what others are saying. Now, when one says that government is listening to people, the question might be whether these people are its own alliance partners or the people of the country, or there are some valid points that the opposition is making, but eventually this is consultative governance that the opposition has always wanted, is it not?
Good evening to you, the viewers, and Madam.
Line ran across major newspapers including Times of India, ET. Government rules out reintroduction of old pension scheme. This is the government responding to people's wish and will. And why is it responding in that way? Because people had given it a mandate. BJP is a party that will take the mandate and then destroy the people who voted it in, whether it is farmers, whether it is youth, whether it is the families of soldiers such as me, who comes from a
How does UPS
background.
do that, sir?
I'm saying, first of all, the OPS to UPS switch of BJP. So when they had a perfect mandate, they said in the first few months of 2019, we don't want to hear about OPS. Now that people have given a body blow to BJP, their ahankar,
Yes.
their arrogance, their dictatorial dreams, they are now taking U-turns in different ways.
So it is a good thing, right? That they are no more arrogant, they are no more dictatorial and not ahankari?
If they did not have such a checkered track record of saying one thing and doing another, the problem that BJP faces is the Prime Minister speaks like a fantastic magician and then his government behaves like a mad scientist. They came up with policies, diabolical policies. Somebody talks about economics. They came up with diabolical policies such as demonetization.
Is UPS diabolical or not?
Sorry?
Is UPS diabolical?
No, this is their track record. Whether UPS is diabolical, whether it is not, the details will come out. Whether the states are able to adopt or not, the details will come out. The fact is not lost to the 23 lakh government employees that this government, after being dented a blow to their arrogance, is stepping back and beginning to feel the pulse of democracy.
Okay,
That is
so it is a good thing that this government is finally feeling the pulse of democracy, Shehzad.
But let me counter this on fact, because I am not as gifted with big words like Ghanshyam is, but I am gifted with facts. Here is the committee that was formed 6 April 2023. Way before any so-called body blow, and what a body blow. We formed the government the third time. Those who have been unsuccessful in forming government in the last 10 years are saying we've been dealt a body blow, but the committee was formed on 6th of April 2023. So Modi ji knew that in 2024 he is going to get a certain mandate. So he went retrospectively and created a committee. I mean, let's talk about facts. Now I want to ask you, Ghanshyam ji, that what was the body blow that made Mr. Manmohan Singh quit NPS and Rahul Gandhi start advocating for the same OPS that they did away with? And what was the body blow that you got that the OPS which you implemented in Rajasthan, suddenly there was no mention of that OPS in the 2024 manifesto? Suddenly you have not implemented it in Karnataka. Suddenly no implementation in Telangana. You are saying OPS is best, UPS is bad, NPS is bad. You don't need to go by the NPS or UPS. You are implementing OPS. So, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, in your India land states, please tell me why is Karnataka, Telangana, and any other state that you all run is not implementing OPS?
One by one. Lokesh Jindal first, because Congress has several governments in states. Samajwadi Party is hoping for some.
Well, if you talk about the state finances, they differ from that of the center. There are various aspects involved in it. There is a grant in aid that the states receive from the center, which is included under the revenue receipt. And as we all know,
that has never stopped you from promising OPS in Himachal Pradesh?
No,
same grants, same applies, same receipts?
Allow me to complete. When we are talking about the present finance commission regime, it is based upon the conditional transfers. Now, if you're talking about pensions, they are included under the revenue expenditure of the budget. And the revenue deficit that we consider, it becomes an important condition before which you get any form of a grant from the center.
Mr. Jindal, I'm really sorry, I'm really bad at economics, but if I were a voter of the Congress party, whatever conditions apply is in your statement right now. When Congress had gone to the voters, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra included, in Himachal Pradesh, they said, if we come to power, we will give you OPS. They did not say that A, B, C, asterisks apply.
So I would like to say over here that the OPS will be implemented in all the states, wherever it has been promised. However, there is a time required so as to restructure the finance sheets, because if that is not done, then it's impossible for a state, given the context that we have the center-state financial relations.
I think now you're just trying to confuse our viewers and your voters with the word salad.
See, we already know what happened in Kerala. You know, Article 293, it gives borrowing powers to states from the center. But the center, it forced the state government so as to divulge from other forms of aspects, and they had to float the companies and thereby go to
Sir,
the
I don't understand your point. Lokesh Jindal, I'm really sorry. I don't understand your point. What is the point that you're trying to make? That Congress made a promise based on NDA government's policies and won an election in Himachal?
What I'm saying is, when you're talking about salaries and pensions given to the employees in the state, there is a huge involvement of the funds that the states receive from the center. However, the center has been having double standards with respect to funds that it is releasing for the states by Congress. And
has the center been having double standards?
I am not going to get into this this kind of trap that he's laying. Look, Rahul Gandhi said. One second. Now, Lokesh, I did not interrupt you.
No, let's keep it civil. Everybody has enough time.
I have not interrupted
anybody. Please.
I think I deserve the courtesy to be allowed to speak. Rahul Gandhi goes to an election rally and says, "Ye Modi ko kuch nahi aata. Give me the state, I will give you OPS." He does not put any caveat conditions that center paisa dega tab main launga. He doesn't say that we will do it this way, we will take time to study the documents, etc. All the word salad you said. He said, main launga. Now Karnataka has finished a long time in power. You are in power. Telangana, you have substantial amount of time. Himachal, you are in substantial amount of time. Now you are blaming it to somebody else, which means that your promises were contingent on Modi paying for your crackpot schemes. Secondly, which other guarantees have you fulfilled? In Karnataka, just 20 seconds, you said free electricity, free pani, you have increased water prices. You have hiked petrol and diesel prices. You have made bus fares more expensive for men. So you have not fulfilled any guarantees because it is khatakat loot. And this OPS was also a khatakat loot scam. You scammed and conned the people. Rahul Gandhi's guarantees are worse than Chinese product warranties. That is what he stands for.
Now, Vivek Srivastava, let me get you in, and thank you for your patience. A lot of people have been questioning the timing of this. Now, what I need to understand is that it's an oft-repeated argument that, you know, whatever you do in India, at any given point of time, there is some election taking place and there will be a violation of model code of conduct, which is also what some critics are saying right now. But do you think that a scheme like this, that is limited impact on 23 lakh people, as per the government's own data, once the states implement it, we don't know what kind of numbers we are looking at, is it going to have an impact on elections, and do you think it is time
I'll
to elections?
answer your question. And firstly, I'm very surprised that Kalka Ladka Karan Verma is an economist today without
Sir, let's not get personal. Sir, you are experienced enough to fight with this battle with your arguments and not personal remarks. Sir, please.
No, personally, he's a good friend of mine, so I was a bit surprised in his view of that.
That's the family in that case.
No, let's
Number two, I am also surprised at what are we going to discuss? The modalities of the unified pension scheme, or we are here to accuse the government, the Congress and the opposition? The debate is going in a different direction. Now, let me tell you something. There is something called the Joint Trade Union Federations. That has got the AITUC, the C2, and INTUC, and other trade union federations in this country. For the last 10 years, we have been protesting against the Modi government on two fronts. The labor reforms is one, and the pension schemes is second. There is a trade union federation called BMS, which is affiliated with the BJP. Because of political compulsions, they did not come out openly against the new pension scheme. However, they also gave a tight slap to the Modi government and said, if you do not implement it, then we are going to become unpopular into the Karamchari unions. Therefore, kindly take back your step. That is the first part. This is the first information I would like to give you, because Mr. Shehzad Poonawalla has not given you the number of agitations being done by the railway unions, Airport Authority of India, the bank unions, the Central Government Employees Union, the LIC, and so on and so forth. Number one. So it is under a lot of pressure. And finally, when they got a little bit of a setback in this particular election, they are trying to become a little more realistic. Secondly, I think if the government is trying to take back something, I, as a member of the opposition, take it in a healthy way. I believe if they are listening to the voice of the people and modifying something that was irrational, that I give them the credit for it. In fact, that is how it should be in a healthy democracy. The ruling party and the government must listen to the opposition, must listen to the people, and if they feel that something is becoming unpopular, there is nothing wrong if you step down a bit and you modify. You have been coming up with bills which are highly unrealistic and unpopular. The farmers bill was one. Waqf board aap lekar ke aaye. Then you were trying to get in a bill for controlling the social media. But all of these, this particular government knew they are not in absolute majority. They cannot bulldoze. There cannot be a Tanashahi again like there was in the last 10 years.
So again, after Ghanshyam Tiwari, even you are conceding that it is a good thing, that the government is becoming more inclusive.
If you are modifying, I think yes. But we'll be more happy. We'll be more happy if not only the central government, the army officers and the private companies are included into it. And also if you revert back to the old pension scheme in totality, there is nothing like it. Because that is the best possible solution.
Yes, yes.
I will not make any snide remarks at my good friend Vivek, although he's made an unfair jibe at Karan, who's one of the most articulate speakers in this country. Now, let me complete my point. I think Karan is a fairly articulate, young and self-made person, so we should not run him down unnecessarily. But Vivek, just a small point.
Yeah.
22nd of August. Telangana employees to observe Black Day on August 23rd because they tell the Congress that junk your contributory scheme and please bring the OPS that you had promised. Yes. Printed in the Times of India. Now, since you're such a fervent person who loves protest, why don't you tell me a certain thing about the Congress not fulfilling its promise and making people go on the streets for OPS? Okay. Now, don't blame the center. यहाँ पे सेंटर को दोष देंगे. Where is the OPS in Telangana? Where is the OPS in Karnataka? Where is the OPS in Himachal?
I am a hardcore trade unionist. और आपके लेबर लॉज भी 4 में वापस करवाऊंगा, वो भी चल रहा है, चिंता मत करिए.
अरे आप अपनी पार्टी की वापसी करवा दीजिए. आप अपनी पार्टी की वापसी करवाइए बंगाल में.
That we cannot give context to. This is not a platform to settle personal arguments over here.
But Shehzad, से वापसी करवा के सरकार में आएंगे.
Shehzad, the question that everybody is asking is, and it cannot be a coincidence, that in just the 2 months of this party, this government coming to power, there have been multiple sort of rollbacks of decisions.
Yeah,
there have been multiple decisions.
One second. I have given you the facts that this committee was constituted in 2023. I am saying
Waqf amendment bill was not constituted before
Waqf was always supposed to go to the committee, joint parliamentary committee.
Why would you bring a bill to send it directly to the committee?
It requires consultation.
The consultations can happen before the bill is presented, no?
Are you telling me that the Congress party and the other opposition parties who are saying that it should be sent to a joint parliamentary committee should not have been heard?
I am telling you that the BJP...
Let me complete a fundamental point. You're not allowing me to complete a fundamental point. One fundamental point. 1 second. What we are missing is that rather than the BJP doing the U-turn, the U-turn has been done on OPS, which was promised to the people of Telangana by the Congress. There are protests happening. How about addressing this protest? अरे भाई हम तो खराब ही है ना. आप अपना प्रोटेस्ट पूरा करके उसको बोलो ना OPS कब ला रहे हो? Why don't you give a timeline? चलो जिंदल जी, give a timeline. तेलंगाना में OPS कब आ रहा है? Give a timeline.
Karnataka में already the government has clarified introduction of OPS to the 13,000 employees.
13,000.
And the similar suit will follow.
Promise to all and give to 30,000.
Himachal Pradesh, all the states wherever it has been promised. So
Telangana
you need not try to hide behind
Telangana
these frivolous arguments.
Telangana date.
Yes. You will very soon get to know.
Very soon
you
means
asked
what?
me about Karnataka. I have told you about Karnataka.
Karnataka, you're lying. They have gone back even on that. And 13,000.
And Himachal Pradesh.
How many government employees are there in Karnataka? What's the figure?
There are 13,000 government employees which are going to get the benefit of old pension scheme.
How many are there totally, sir?
Stated by the Siddaramaiah government.
How many are there totally who can avail the benefit of OPS?
Listen, Shehzad, you are
Look at their arrogance.
Unified pension scheme. You say 25 years का कोई प्रावधान ही नहीं है. जब आपको कुछ पता नहीं होता,
I never said there's no 25-year pravdhan. I said even if you have crossed 10 years, you will get it. See, I think people can make out who lies.
So as to get full pension, you're not even aware about facts. You come over here like an authority
Priya, who's
and try
lying
to
on this
dictate to
debate?
others.
Sir,
no, he's not even aware
let's not misrepresent facts at least. Mr. Jindal,
compulsory service that is required
Mr.
to get
Jindal.
full pension benefit.
Yes, so he wasn't talking about full pension benefits. He was
No,
talking
the
about
point
people who have
is, when
completed
he's
25
asking
years
the
will get
question,
benefits
listen,
accordingly.
listen, when he's asking the question.
He's diverting from the Telangana question,
So
which he has no answer
he's
to.
basically talking about what Pawan Khera has also put out on his post, and let me get an answer from Shehzad on that directly. Pawan Khera says that in many states, the upper age limit for government jobs for reserved categories is 40 years. In UPSC, it is 37 years. Now, under the unified pension scheme, it is mandatory to render 25 years of services to get full pension. How will SC, ST, OBC employees get this facility? So nowadays, anything and everything you talk about, the Congress
Miss
will
India
bring
too.
in SC, ST,
Including Miss
OBC.
India.
But can you just clarify on this matter? This is what he was responding to Lokesh Jindal. What does the OPS say about this, Karan Verma? And I'll ask Lokesh also for clarity. Under OPS scheme, does everybody get full pension irrespective of the number of years of service?
No. First of all, Priya, I want to know from Lokesh, why have they gotten rid of everything that Manmohan Singh, Montek Singh, Ahluwalia, Raghuram Rajan, all of them said OPS is a burden on the finances, and it is 80% of the tax revenue that will be collected in Himachal. As per the survey, 80% would go in funding for OPS. Why have they suddenly got this love for OPS, and why are they not implementing it? Shehzad asked a pointed question. They get away with this every time, and our friend Vivek, जो अरसों से हैं यहाँ पर, मैं तो कल से हूँ तो अरसों से हैं, उन्होंने ये नहीं बताया. सुप्रीम कोर्ट told this to the Kerala government in the court. 1300 crores आपको अभी सेंटर ने दिए हैं. Why do you lie about it in public? Every single time you've been given money, you've been bailed out by the center, and you continue to burden the economy. You don't implement OPS.
And even apolitical bodies like the RBI have warned against OPS. Let me just quote what RBI said on 12th of December 2023. The return to old pension schemes by a few states, he was referring to opposition ruled states over there, would put a huge burden on their finances, restricting them from undertaking capital expenditure to drive the growth. This is a report that has been released by Reserve Bank of India. It will be a major step backwards. Any reversion to OPS will be a major step backwards. Lokesh Jindal.
See, the very basic difference between OPS and NPS was, in the OPS there was a 50% plus dearness allowance fixed pension. Whereas in NPS, there was no fixed pension. It was to be only based upon the pension fund manager whom the pensioner had to choose.
Yes, but now that has been done away with. The UPS doesn't have market link provision.
NPS was a complete failure. It had brought about a significant protest from all the employees, and it was not something which was just in the news recent time.
So now it's optional.
Long time. The UPS that has been introduced by the government is on the basis of the 2024 electoral verdict. Now, what has happened? Again, the government has reverted back to 50% of the pension plus dearness allowance. However, it has also introduced a 10% as well as 25% ceiling. So a 10%.
Sir, we know. Sir, we know the nuances. Basically, your point being that government has done a good thing by changing whatever they were doing wrong earlier, right? So eventually, we can all agree that the decision to bringing a new pension scheme or a decision to send Waqf amendment bill to joint parliamentary committee or LTCG reverse, whatever they reversed it and they brought back two options for people, even they're all good things, right?
Yes, certainly.
Right.
That's how democracy is functioned.
So that's what the crux of this debate is going to be.
One line.
Yes,
I'm still not clear when the people of Telangana get what they voted for, the OPS. What about the accountability to people? Is speaking to Modi, speaking to Pa, and speaking to Revanth Reddy is what? Speaking to liberal privilege.
The question here is what is being spoken of and what is being delivered. If there are some U-turns, are they going to be U-turns that will eventually benefit the people on the way ahead and not being a regressive step which doesn't work out in public welfare in the long run? That is the big question. U-turns are not always a bad thing. A U-turn, when taken right on time and properly, can lead to a path to progress. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. We take a very quick break.